Before we get to the stand analysis video, I just want to say that this channel is still very new and ever expanding. I'm working hard on getting new content out for you guys, but in the meantime, why not subscribe to the channel? I mean, you're here to watch me analyze a stand, and if you subscribe, you'll get to see me analyze more and more stands until I've analyzed them all. Yeah, that might be a bit far away yet, but still. So far, we've covered a close-range humanoid stand with Magician's Red and a bound stand with Yellow Temperance, so I think it's about time we focus on our first artificial humanoid long-range stand, Noriaki Kakyoin's Hierophant Green. We have spoken about natural humanoid stands that have human-like features such as arms, legs, eyes, and a mouth. However, there is another type of humanoid stand called an artificial humanoid. Kakyoin's Hierophant Green falls under that category. Artificial humanoids are known to still present body shapes like that of a natural humanoid, however they usually feature mechanical or other non-human attributes. For example, Hierophant Green boasts an athletic body type, has green veiny skin that has a rubbery texture, and also it protects itself with light coloured armour, as well as a facial mask. This stand resembles a robot with its leg joints, mask and robot-esque eye design. Behind its facial mask, however, is a very human-looking mouth, which only gets shown briefly in the anime and manga. However, as shown in Kakyoin's fight with Death 13, it appears that the true form of Hierophant Green is a network of connected tentacles that he can unravel at will to use for reconnaissance, attack, or defense. Hierophant Green represents the 5th tarot card in the major arcana, the Hierophant, which symbolizes the bridge between heaven and earth. This meaning also correlates to Hierophant Green's long-range abilities. The stand was coloured green so Araki could create some colour balance between the Crusaders and the enemies. Hierophant Green shows no personality traits, following Kakyoin's instructions loyally and without question. Like many stands, Hierophant Green is sometimes used as a mouthpiece to convey Kakyoin's speech or thoughts to those around him. Although this stand features no obvious personality traits, Kakyoin claims it hates wide open spaces and also that it enjoys ripping things apart, which I believe was made quite obvious in his fight with Greyfly. Noriaki Kakyoin was born with Hierophant Green, which made it very difficult for him to make friends as a child. He felt that he could not connect with anyone, and that no one understood him, that is, until he met Jotaro and the other Stardust Crusaders. Having had his stand since birth, Kakyoin has had many years to familiarize himself with Hierophant Green and its abilities, honing his skills for over 17 years. The speed of Hierophant Green is one of its strongest points. When Kakyoin was under Dio's flesh bud control, his stand displayed a good show of speed when fighting off against Jotaro, as he was able to quickly defend Kakyoin at a moment's notice, as well as catch Jotaro in its grasp almost instantly. Hierophant Green was also able to push the buttons on the video game controller at extraordinary speeds when facing off against Talent's T Derby. Alongside its above average speed, Hierophant Green sacrifices close range power by exhibiting strong ranged attacks. Due to being able to unravel its body, Kakyoin's stand reveals its network of tentacles which it launches towards the enemy with precision and power. Kakyoin can freely control how many of these tentacles appear and where they go. He often uses these to attack and also to evade enemy assaults, but they can also enter small spaces and cracks like an insect can. This ability can be used to sneak around an enemy undetected or to scope out a building. Other small spaces that Hierophant Green's tentacles can enter are the orifices in the body of an animal, such as humans. We'll discuss its coiled body in more detail in just a few minutes. When Steely Dan's stand, the Lovers, infiltrated Joseph's brain, Kakyoin proved to the other Crusaders that he held great knowledge of stands. He reveals that any stand could effectively shrink to a microscopic size, however this depends on how strong the stand user's spiritual energy is, as it puts a huge strain on the user. I would imagine that all stands would be capable of this ability, depending on whether the user could handle it or not. Kakyoin and Polnareff managed to pull this off in an attempt to remove the Lovers from Joseph's brain. Kakyoin's Hierophant Green only has a handful of standout special techniques that he shows within Part 3, the first one being his coiled body. I class this as a special technique in itself as it is often used in battle for multiple reasons. Similar to how Avdol's Magician's Red special technique, Crossfire Hurricane, has a variety of different ways the technique can be used, Hierophant Green's coiled body comes with its own variety of uses. Firstly, he can unravel himself to fire his tentacles aggressively towards the enemy in an attempt to pierce their body. These tentacles move incredibly fast and can attack in numbers, as displayed in his battle with Jotaro. These tentacles can also move very stealthily and quietly in an attempt to catch the enemy unawares and blindside them, as displayed when on the plane fighting Tower of Grey. Kakyoin can also use this unraveling ability to quickly evade enemy attacks by uncoiling the part of the stand's body that would be receiving the attack, as demonstrated in his battle with Manish Boy's Death 13 stand. Hierophant Green can also completely uncoil itself and spread its uncoiled body across a 20-meter radius, creating a giant web of tentacles which surrounds and traps the enemy. In this form, Hierophant Green will attack anyone that touches any part of the web network. This network will sense any motion, including from stands, and shoot off an emerald splash attack towards the enemy from different directions. When fighting Steely Dan's The Lovers inside Joseph's brain, Kakyoin uses this tentacle network ability to distinguish where the real Lover's stand was hiding in the Sea of Clones, by grabbing onto it and detecting its spiritual energy. The final use for Hierophant Green's coiled body technique is that he can enter a very small space almost like an insect can. In the Strength arc, Kakyoin sends his stand's tentacles into the crevices of the ship to try and determine if there are any other living organisms aboard. Alongside investigation and its detection abilities, Kakyoin can also send his stand inside small orifices of a living body. He makes a point of telling Jotaro that Hierophant Green does not like wide open spaces and prefers hiding somewhere. Kakyoin was meaning that his stand finds comfort hiding inside the body of another. This ability has the potential to finish any enemy if it succeeds in entering their body. From the inside, all of the enemy's internal organs are at the mercy of Kakyoin's Hierophant Green and could easily be crushed at will. Entering an enemy's body also allows for Kakyoin to control their body, where moving his stand would effectively move the enemy in the same way. Some consider Kakyoin's puppeteering in the battle with Jotaro as some sort of marionette control ability that is never shown again. However, the puppeteer display was purely for dramatic effect, to simulate the movement of the nurse who Hierophant Green was inside of at the time. The other special technique is his strong projectile ability, Emerald Splash. Emerald Splash is a burst of energy that Hierophant Green creates within its body, which it then focuses into its hands. It exudes energy in the form of liquid, which it then shapes into the form of multiple emerald-shaped projectiles. The stand then shoots these emeralds in a shotgun motion towards the enemy, covering a wide range with incredible speed and power. This was enough to even catch Jotaro off guard. However, Kakyoin doesn't always use this technique for raw power. In his battle with Tower of Grey, Kakyoin uses the Emerald Splash technique to guide the enemy into a set position on the plane, unbeknownst to the enemy stand user. This then allows the tentacles that he snuck around the seats of the plane to strike Tower of Grey in one fell swoop. Emerald Splash is also shown in full effect in the final battle with Dio, when he creates the 20-meter web of uncoiled appendages. Hierophant Green demonstrates here that it does not always need to fully focus the liquid in the palms of its hands, as it is able to shoot them out from all the tentacles in the 20-meter web with great accuracy and speed. My final thoughts for Hierophant Green are that, in terms of general stats such as power, speed, range, and so on, it falls into the average category. It's not overly powerful, nor is it overly weak. I would say that Hierophant Green could tangle with the majority of stand users in Part 3 and hold its ground. However, I think he would have a hard time against most close-ranged power-based stands, such as Star Platinum and Magician's Red. However, with its speed, Hierophant Green would have to keep its distance as much as possible, which would then put close-range stands at a disadvantage. If they got close to Kakyoin's stand, he would then be the one in trouble. It's difficult to really discern which particular stands would be able to beat it, other than the world, for obvious reasons. But due to Hierophant Green being a well-balanced stand all round, with the added bonus of being adept at sneaking around and also having the ability to go inside the enemy and ripping them to shreds from the inside, Kakyoin's green stand may have the potential to defeat a good amount of the enemy stand users that Dio pit them up against in Stardust Crusaders, if in a fair one-on-one fight. Some of the stands that I believe would still defeat Kakyoin are Horus, the Empress, and the Sun, as it would be much harder to enter the body of the stand than the user. I do feel like his bodily control ability was underused, only being used in his fight with Jotaro and Death 13. However, I do believe this might be because Araki thought he would be far too overpowered if he could just constantly destroy the enemy stand user from the inside out. Do you agree with my final thoughts on Kakyoin's Hierophant Green? Did I say something that you disagreed with? Let me know in the comments below. Also, I thought I should mention, Hierophant Green's stand analysis was suggested by John Chatsisavas and Rayan Bashir. Thanks for the suggestions, guys. If you have any more stand analysis suggestions for future analysis videos, feel free to suggest them in the comments. If you've enjoyed this video, then please consider subscribing to the channel for future Jojo content. Also, it would be great if you could hit that like button on this video if you wanted to see more stand analysis videos. If it gets 5 likes, I'll do another stand analysis video like this. To get notified when I release the next stand analysis video, hit that bell and you'll be notified when I release another one. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. But until next time, Bizarre Star Platinum out.